let's give this custom Mark II a proper display. I've had these hanger bays in my collection for quite some time, but they're just kind of sitting there. They're kind of dark. They just kind of blend in with the background, so we're going to change that today. First, we've got to give these guys a nice proper wash because they are a little dusty. Now we're going to be using this new airbrush that I just got. We're going to test if it's any good, and if it is any good and you want one yourself, you can get one down in the description or in my TikTok bio. I always like to run a little water through my airbrush first just to make sure everything is in place, that everything is screwed in properly, and that way we're not getting paint spraying back at us anywhere. Always make sure your paint or surfacer is plenty thin before you start the test, is make sure it's the consistency of like skim milk. Then you're just going to want to make sure you give every piece a nice even coating with this surfacer, so that way whenever you do your paints, it again comes through nice and smooth. Speaking of paints, here's everything I used. Nothing too crazy, just some grays, some blacks. I did have some red and greens for the wiring down at the bottom of the base. Other than that, just your standard affair. For my ratio, since I'm not using typical airbrush paints, I want to do a ratio of about 1 to 2 between the paint and the water, so it's going to look pretty thin here. That's kind of what I want to do, so I don't want to clog up my airbrush. But we give everything a nice coating with the gunmetal gray here, and then I'm actually going to go to a bit of a brush painting to give everything a bit of a dark coat on top. I'm not too worried about this being perfect. I just want to add some variety to the darkness that's going to be all over, and then of course we're going to add the colors on the wiring at the bottom, that nice red and a little bit of a green. I did go through and panel line everything as well, but when that's done, all that's left to do is reassemble, and we've got ourselves a pretty nice hanger, I gotta say. I know it's kind of subtle, nothing too crazy, but compared to how this originally looked, I think this is spectacular. Again, if you want the airbrush I used in this video, you can get it down. It's linked in this video or in my description. I think for the price, it did pretty darn good. Obviously, if you want a crazy expensive airbrush, it's going to be better, but for 20 bucks, this is not too bad. And if you watched all the way to the end of the video, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. I make content like this all the time, and if you like this, you're obviously going to like the rest of it. Either way, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.